Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new here and you love crochet, you should definitely subscribe. And if you love Halloween, you should really subscribe because we'll be doing a lot of Halloween, a lot of fall, and of course, a lot of crochet. And also, if you love both those things, you should go follow my Instagram, linked down below. Anyways, let's get started on what we're going to be doing today. Today we'll be crocheting a bat bag. You can say that multiple times in a row, but it's going to be a Halloween bag with bats on it, of course. So to start, I have this yarn. This is Loops and Thread Soft Classics in the color Limeade, and it's like this nice like fluorescent green, which is very like Halloween adjacent to me. I know orange and black are the classic Halloween colors, but I feel like colors like this are very Halloween adjacent. But yes, this has 252 yards. You'll need 2 of these skeins, or probably won't use the whole second skein, probably use about like a third to half of this, but just keep that in mind when you're buying your own yarn, as well as the same size black acrylic yarn. I am personally using the 5mm hook. This recommends a 5.5. I'm using a 5mm because I don't have a 5.5. And then also you'll need a yarn needle to crochet or to sew your project together. And this is not required, but definitely suggested or recommended. A stitch marker to help hold your project in place as you stitch it together. So that's what you need. So let's go ahead and get started. Generally, when I am crocheting a bag or a sweater and I'm doing like a graphic on it, I like to do the piece that doesn't have the graphic first, so I can then lay out how I want to do everything. So if you also want to start with the back panel, I basically did a starting chain of 50, and then I did rows of half double stitches, so we can easily count how many. So this is 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. I love the half double specifically for that reason. And I did 32 rows. Now you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. I always say that in all my crochet videos because crochet is so great. You can make it exactly how you want it. But yeah, so this is my back panel, and we are going to start on my front panel where I'll be adding the bats. So I'll be using my size 5mm hook. I am going to turn the light on when I actually crochet, but I am going to do a starting chain of 50. Once you are done with your starting chain, you're going to turn into your work here. We're going to skip the first stitch, go into the second stitch, and do a half double crochet, which a half double is where you do a loop, then go into your work, then pull your yarn through and have a single loop on the end and go all the way across, and you should have 49 stitches. And we are going to do 5 rows of just green half double half double crochet stitches. So it'll be 5 rows before we add the black to make our bats. Once you've done your 5 rows, we're going to count inward 24 stitches, since the current rows are 49. That is where on the 25th stitch we'll put our stitch marker to know to start our bats. That is if you want to do 3 bats, if you want to do 6, because the size of the bats we are doing, there should be room on this size to do 6 altogether. So if you prefer that, just move where you'll put your stitch marker, and you'll need 2. But we'll count 24 stitches in, and then on the 25 stitches, and putting a stitch mark. I marked my 25th stitch, so that's where the black yarn, or whatever color yarn you want to make your bats, will go, and I'm going to crochet to this point, and then I'll jump back actually at the table to show you how to switch over your yarn. Alright, so I am the stitch before our stitch marker, and before I finish it, I am going to switch to the black yarn. So I have my 3 stitches on. This is my yarn. I'll pull all the way through here. And then now I will do 1 stitch with black for our bat shape. Make sure I get the right end here. And then I am going to finish the top with black because I will expand out the black. So I want that. And then we'll go back into green and go across. And I'll come back when we're to the black to show you what to do next. We are now on the back side of our work, so this is going to be the front, this is the back, and we're going to do 3 stitches in black. So make sure you pull your working yarn to the back because it will be sticking out the front. We don't want that. And then we're going to pull through black on this one, so the stitch before our 3. Then we're going to go into our second one here, or our first black stitch, our second black stitch, and then our third. And once again, I'm going to pull my yarn all the way through because it is going to be black on the top. I'm actually going to move my stitches over here because it is askew. So I'm actually going to go backwards. We're going to go like this. Once again, make sure our yarn's to the back. Go that way, and then do 1. Oops. Go into that one, 2, and then 3. There we go. So we have 3 stitches for that, and we're going to switch back over to our green, so make sure our yarn is in the back. Go all the way down, and I will come back with where to put the black next. So we are back to where we'll be adding our bat in. I am going to do 3 stitches on either side of what we already have, so it'll be a total of 9 stitches. I did a stitch marker just to make it easy for myself as I was doing the green. Going to pull the black through, but not too tight because we don't want it tight across the back. And then I'm going to do my stitches here for our bat. So that's 3, then 4, 5, and 6, then 7, oop, I lost my loop. So I actually need to do, so it's actually technically 10 stitches. I counted wrong. There was 4 in here, but I did 3 on either side. So there's 10 stitches in total. That makes it nice and even. And now we're going to switch back to the green, and then I'll come back to do the rest of the next row for our bat. I'm going to add 2 stitches of my bat to either side. So let me go ahead and remove the stitch marker. Keep that to that side. Pull my yarn through, then go 1, then 2, and go across the rest of them. Gotta move this stitch, this extra yarn out of the way there. Alright, so we have to remove this stitch marker as well. And then we'll do 1 and 2, and then switch back to our green yarn. Make sure that's on this side. And keep going to the other end here. And then we'll turn our work and go to the next row. This one I'm literally just going to go into all the same stitches I've done in black and go across. It is going to get a little bit more complicated because we are adding his head. So his head is going to be 3 stitches. So the stitches before and after these 3 will be green, as well as we're adding another stitch, which is easy because I do the top stitch just like this in my back color. So I always know where my next stitch is going to go. And so I'm going to go across to here. All right, I'm switching to my green stitch here. So I'm going to go into that one, but then switch to black. There. Oops. It's twisted. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. And go 1, also pull that tight there. 2, remove my stitch marker. And, oops. And 3. Then switch back to the green, then do a single stitch, almost, because we gotta switch back to the black. And then go all the way back across for this. So this is what it'll look like on the other side. And then finish the color you chose for your bat. I'm gonna go all the way across, and because I'm still expanding out the wings, I am going to finish with that. All right, so we are going to get our black yarn situated here, pull through. We're going to go not quite all the way across, because we are going to shape our wings a little bit here. So we're going to go to the second from last and switch them back to green. So we'll do a second one, then switch back to black. For the little ears, switch back to green. Oops. For one stitch to kind of break up between the ears and the center, do the second ear. Oops, don't want to go all the way through. Switch them back to green and do a single stitch, then a second stitch, then go back to black. Once I can find the yarn, there it is. Then go across. Oops. And this is our second to last row for our first bat. So there is that. He is a little funky on the top. He almost looks more like a Mothman. But yeah, so that is that. We'll switch back to green, and then we'll come in for our last row of our first bat, and then I'll tell you what to do next. As you can see, I pulled my green yarn all the way through this stitch, and I'm going to switch to black during this part instead, because my next row here will be green. Now that I worked my yarn out here, I'm going to go across in all of these. And like last time, as I go inward, I'm going to stop early here and switch back to green. And then this time, the head of my bat is done, so I don't have to switch over for that. I'm going to just go across all green. And then once I get to here, I'm going to do one more stitch of green. Then switch back to black. Go over all my black. Or whatever color you picked for your bat. I considered doing like another bright color, but I decided to go classic, and I'm going to go into this stitch, switching over to green, because like I said, the next row will just be a solid green. And there is our bat. So that's bat 1. I'm gonna go all the way across, and then my next round, I said round, next row will just be solid green. I've done one row in between our first bat and then this one I'm going to just recreate the previous bat. I am just going to do the same thing over again. I won't refilm it to try and limit how long this video is. I tend to make way too long of videos. So we'll just go into the 25th spot, putting a stitch marker, or just count 24, switch over to black, so on and so forth until we have another bat. The second bat is done, which unfortunately I somehow was like a stitch short on him. So probably after I'm done, I'll take some black yarn, kind of stitch and fix that. So now I'm going to make my third and final bat because I did my row in between my bats. So here are our bats, and as you can see, I miscounted. This is actually 31 rows. So I only need one more row to be done with the front panel of my bag. Like I said, I'm gonna go back and probably touch up some of these spots here, but somehow my first bat ended up perfect and my other two ended up like this. Who knows? So we're gonna do the strap next. I already did one, so I knew how long I needed it. And how I'm going to attach it here is I'm going to, let me scoot over, my cat wants up. I'm going to have it kind of where it's like attached like this. You'll see better when it's all done and attached, but that makes my starting chain be 90. And now this is different from the body of the bag because I'll be doing single crochet stitches for this. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're gonna do a starting chain of 90. Once we do our starting chain of 90, I'm going to put a single stitch into this second stitch right here. So I'll have 89 single crochet stitches, and I will have to let you know how many rows I personally do. The strap definitely is going to depend on you, so I'm not going to focus a whole lot on like how I personally do it because you'll want to do your own length that you find comfortable and what's right for you, as well as a thickness that's right for you. You just want to make sure that it's thick enough that it will be able to support the bag and everything you put in. I have all my pieces, so I have my 2 straps, which I did 4 single crochet rows on each. I think 5 is also like a good one to do as well if you want a little more support. Maybe you're going to put something heavier in here. But now I'm going to assemble my bag. So I'm basically going to put my outside pieces facing each other. And then I have extra yarn here, and I'm just going to weave it together. And like I said, I'm also going to do like this on the bag where I just have my strap popped up. I'm hoping that will give it a little more support. Maybe I'll attach it on the inside like that to give it a little more support because my other couple bags I've made pull a little bit. I might actually do that instead where I stitch it on the inside. But anyways, so I'm going to take my nice long yarn here, put it into my needle, and we're gonna sew it shut. So I'm going to weave into the tops here, pull quite a bit of the yarn through. To start, it's nice and long, so it might take a minute. Don't want to pull it all the way through though. And then basically I'm just gonna weave back and forth through here. You don't have to pull it through every single time, but you just want to weave back and forth, trying to stay on the same level. And every once in a while I like to pull through so we don't get too lost here or get it like tangled, because sometimes yarn will do that if you take too long. But yeah, I'm basically going to do that all the way around 3 sides, leaving the top open, of course, and then I'll attach my straps. The bag is attached together here. So now we just need to attach the straps. I'm basically going to go from there to there, just like that, but I'm going to make sure my straps aren't twisted. That way I'm not covering any of the bat with the yarn. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna stitch it like so to give it a more secure strap. Hopefully this will work. I've never done it this way, but let's go try it. All right, the bag is done. The straps are attached. I do have to like go back in and loosen this up a little bit. I tied it a little tight through there, but I actually think this works really nice for the straps. We have our 3 bats, which like I said, it would also be cute if you did 6 on it. Here is the back, which is just nice and plain. I haven't weaved my ends in yet. I think the only issue with stitching in the straps that way is what you can see. So I think I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna loosen all my straps, try and figure out a way to not have that aggressive seaming there. But honestly, I really love this bag. I love this shape. I'm 100% gonna do this shape again because I really like it. If you need more like width to it, it would be really easy to just do a like an inch long or an inch wide long piece to go around. But yeah, there's the bag. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.